In this video of the Historical Ordnance series, we're going to look at the German Panzerfaust 3 anti-tank grenade launcher. Now, this may look like it's reloadable. It is not. This is a disposable unit. It comes in two pieces. You have the reusable command launch unit here, and you have the actual tube with the warhead on it. This over here is an upgraded version of this launch unit known as the Dynarange Computerized Sight Fire Control Unit. Now, according to the information that I came across, the base unit here, it was accepted by the German Bundeswehr in 1987, but wasn't officially adopted until 1992, at which point it replaced the light Panzerfaust 44, which was withdrawn from service slowly. Now, this weapon system is in service with currently Germany, Japan, Switzerland, Ukraine, Austria, Belgium, Iraq, Netherlands, Peru, South Korea, and reportedly Hezbollah has gotten a hold of a bunch of them. Now, some of the technicals on it. The length of the tube and warhead here with the probe collapsed inward, that's how it's shipped, is 3 feet 1 inch. Once you extend the probe out the front of the warhead, it increases the length to 3 feet 11 inches. Now, the diameter of the barrel here on our actual ordnance part is 60 millimeters. So that's smaller than a M72 Law rocket. It has a diameter of 2 3/8 inches once you translate over from 60 millimeter. Now, the warhead itself, the base warhead of the Panzerfaust 3, has a diameter of 4 1/3 inches. The weight of the launch unit here, or launch control unit, is 5 pounds. I'm going to give you some information on some of the different models that are out there. The ones that the U.S. Army are actually tracking, though, apparently there are a bunch of improved models that are available. They just haven't been adopted by anyone yet. But when I give you some of the specifics on some of the more common models here, I'll give you the total weights of the launcher and the command unit together. Now, for the Panzerfaust 3, the minimum arming range is 15 meters. So just like with any type of anti-tank weapon, it has to go a certain distance from the launcher before the rocket kicks in and the warhead will arm. Some anti-tank weapons that could be based on numbers of rotations, and it takes a certain difference to reach those number of rotations. Some of them, it could be a timed thing that as soon as the rocket kicks in, it causes the probe, the fuse, to be able to be armed at that point. It just depends on the particular weapon system. Now, this one you see here, this is the base Panzerfaust 3. There's also the Panzerfaust 3T. The difference between the two of them is the 3 has just a single shape charge warhead in it. The 3T, which looks the same, actually has a tandem warhead inside. It has one shape charge to defeat explosive reactive armor, and then a second warhead, or a second shape charge behind it, which goes off a split second later to actually penetrate the armor on the target. Now, ranges and stuff on the 3 and the 3T. Maximum range on a moving target is 300 meters. On a stationary target, it is 400 meters. It is capable of penetrating up to 400 millimeters of rolled homogeneous armor, so your basic tank armor. Total weight of the launcher and the warhead is 28 1/4 pounds. Now, They did come out with improvements fairly quickly after it was adopted. The first one here, we had the Panzerfaust 3 T600. It has a 2-section probe in the front here, and it has the new upgraded Dyna-Range fire control unit instead of the basic sight. Maximum range on this is 600 meters against a stationary target, thought to be around 300 meters for a moving target. They changed the explosive composition of the warhead, put in a better explosive compound, increasing the penetration capabilities up to 700 millimeters of armor. Total weight of this system is 29 pounds. This one here is a further improvement which came out a few years later. The Panzerfaust 3 IT600. You can tell a difference on that. It has a 3-piece probe in front of the warhead. This has a maximum range of 800 meters against a stationary target. This warhead is capable of penetrating 1,150 millimeters of just plain rolled homogeneous armor, so it'll penetrate pretty much any tank in existence. If the tank has reactive armor, it can defeat the reactive armor and then up to 900 millimeters of armor behind it. Total weight of this system is 31.5 pounds. This one down here is not an anti-tank warhead. This is a bunker buster, similar to the SMA used by the U.S. military. The actual designation for this is the BASTG, also referred to as the Panzerfaust. This entered service with the Bundeswehr in 1995. This warhead on here has 2 fuses in it. One fuse detonates on the wall of the target to bust its way through, and then after it gets through the wall, a split second later, a second charge explodes inside here that essentially is like a really long fragmentation grenade, and it fills that space with aluminum fragments. The range on this is 600 meters. It is capable of defeating up to 360 millimeters of brick, concrete, or sandbags. If it's used against light armor, it can penetrate up to 17 millimeters of armor, so a really lightly armored vehicle. Total weight of this system is 27.75 pounds. Now, all of these launchers, at least with the German military service and what the Bundeswehr and what they tell other countries, is that the gunner is supposed to have the command launch unit and 2 rockets. He should have an assistant gunner with him who should carry 3 rockets with him. Now, the backblast on this is for the safety area, which the gunner is supposed to look for before he fires, is up to 60 millimeters in a 90-degree cone from the very back of the launcher. However, these launchers all can be used inside confined space. That is something that was part of the very initial design. So right behind the propelling charge inside the tubes, you have I wouldn't call it a charge, it's just a tube filled with plastic granules. And then this works as a recoilless rifle. Propelling charge goes off, pushing the warhead forward. Has to go 15 meters before the actual rocket on the warhead activates. Well, as it's pushing forward, it shoots backwards those plastic granules, which cuts down on the recoil. And because of that, there's very little backblast that comes out the back. If you look at videos on these, you'll see what looks like a huge amount of backblast coming off of it. That is the plastic granules that are superheated getting shot out the back, and they're spreading out in kind of like a cloud. You wouldn't want to breathe this stuff, but that system does allow you to use these inside a confined space. So from inside a bunker, inside a room on a building during urban warfare. Now, how you put this into operation. And I should show you another picture here first. I do have a picture of the container that these are shipped in. This is the container that the tube and the warhead come in. It looks like there is a carrying handle on the side. That is for the basic anti-tank launch unit. It looks like the Panzerfaust actually comes in a slightly different package than that, but it's pretty similar. Now, I did look out. I did come across a Ukrainian training pamphlet on these, and it looks like the US CIA or Special Forces are the one that trained them how to use these, because it has a bunch of English labels on it. So we have here the command launch unit, sight, forward hand grip, trigger. They call this the cocking grip or pistol grip. And then you have the shoulder stop, the butt pad. While above the pistol grip assembly here, right behind the rail for the sight, you have the release lever, and right behind that, right above the pistol grip, is the safety lever. On the top here, right above on the rail, right in front of the sight, you have the holding latch, which locks onto the tube. And right here, this actually is a release lever for when you take the butt pad out of launch position and put it back into the stored position. Now, how to employ this thing? First off, obviously, before you use them, you're at your fighting position. The battle hasn't happened yet. You go through, inspect your launcher, and you inspect your fire control unit. Reportedly, each launch unit comes with a big amount of replacement parts so that you can replace pretty much any piece on the launch unit here, to include the sight is what I had heard. That stuff is supposed to be inside a storage bag. My guess is it gets left in the rear. You're not going to have it back up at your forward position. You're not going to bring it with you forward on any type of assault or ambush. But you're going to go through, you're going to inspect your launch unit. If there's a problem, use that toolkit and the spare parts to replace the damaged component. Warhead passes inspection. You get everything together, you take it to where you're going to use it. You can carry these locked together, ready to go if needed. It's just do not extend the probe on the front of the warhead until you're ready to launch. How you attach these to the launcher: you got the holding latch here, which is a hook on top. And you can't see it too well through the camera right now, but right here, looks like about 6 to 8 inches back from the end of the tube here, there's a little Y-shaped fork up in here. You are going to line up this hook into that fork, jam it onto there, and then you're going to swing the launch unit up. And to lock it onto the back here, there's a little locking bar here that will connect to a catch up in here. You got that locked into position. You can transport it to where you got to go, or it's ready for use at that time. If you're going to use it right away, you unscrew the probe here a little bit, extend it all the way out, and then it is a counterclockwise twist on it to lock it into place. With the T600 warheads, you got to do each individual section one at a time. Pull it out, screw it into place, pull out the next section, screw it into place, pull out the last section, screw it into place. At that point, you can go through, pull down the foregrip, lock back the shoulder pad, then you can grab the cocking grip here, the pistol grip, lock it down into position, sight in on your target, and I do have a picture of the sights and some of the ranges from the Ukrainian manual. Use your thumb and flip down the safety lever. It's a 2-position safety lever. The top is S, which means sicha. The bottom is F, which means Feuer. So we got the target in our sights. You got your left hand on the forward hand grip. Your right hand is on the pistol grip. Use your thumb, flip down on that safety lever from safe to fire. Squeeze the trigger. The round should fire. I do not have the misfire procedures for if nothing happens, but if I had to guess, you're going to want to flip it from Feuer back to sicher, from fire back to safe, probably push back up on the pistol grip and pull it back down to recock is my guess. I'm not certain, it was not in the manual. And then give it another try. If it would still misfire, keep the launcher facing down range, and you're going to remove the command launch unit and attach it to the next launcher. Now, how you disconnect the launch unit from the tube. The first thing you're going to do, put it back in the safe, reset the pistol grip, then you're going to hit the latch here for the butt. You're going to push it to the back, swing the butt back into position over the pistol grip. Then you're going to grab the foregrip and bring it back over the top of the pistol grip here. Then you're going to thumb up the release lever here. Then rock it from the back forward and remove it from the launcher or from the tube. You can then attach it onto the next one, go through on the Army procedure, foregrip, butt pad, then pistol grip, fire. Now the sights on this thing are incredibly simple. This is on the basic sight unit. This is not on the dyno range. On the side here you have 100, 200, 300, 400. This is range in meters. This is the general outline of the target. And then there's some basic information here. This is the aim points. These crosses in the center here, if it's stationary, this is the aim points if the target is moving. So if it's coming in from the left here, this is the aim point that you will put on the front of the target, the front of the vehicle. If it's coming in from the right here, this is the aim point that you put on the front of the vehicle. Oh, no, it actually says in some of the stuff down here, it looks like that's supposed to still go on the center of the vehicle. Okay. So, we do have down here some of the stuff from the Ukrainians. So, 100 meters on a T-72. As you see, the turret will fill the top of your mark here, the very top one. Put your crosshair right below, or right on the turret ring, right below the turret. And in theory, it should pop the target. If you're on a flank shot, as you can see, the front edge here goes from your roller up front. Your back one basically bisects your drive sprocket. Your aim mark is center of the target, right at the turret ring. 200 meters on this one, once again, on a T-72. The turret fills the top mark here for a frontal shot. And this is for a flank shot at 200 meters. Now down here it shows for lining up for a target that is traveling at 20 kilometers per hour. That's around 30 miles per hour. If I'm doing the math correct. No, that is around 12 miles an hour. Coming in from the right hand side, it is within range because we checked it on our reticles here. We put the crosshair for the correct range, center tank turret ring, and then fire. As long as you have nothing between you and the target before that grenade would hit the target. So this is a weapon system. It's pretty simple to use, as you've seen. The sighting on it is actually not too much different than what was on the Javelin Command launch unit. We had similar types of markings for lining up onto, and that was based on the T-72 also, so it would work T-72, T-90 because they're both based on the same chassis for the general outlines on the targets. Western tanks, a little bit bigger. But these were designed for Soviet design tanks, particularly the T-72 series and the T-90. T-80 is a little bit bigger than T-72 on the turret, but not by much. It'll still be pretty close. But putting it into operation, incredibly simple. Set the front hook, slide this up, slam it up into position to lock it, foregrip, butt pad, then pistol grip, sight in. Make sure that the probe is extended on the end of the warhead. Reportedly, it will still fire and detonate the warhead without the probe extended. It's just it won't penetrate as well. You need that standoff on from the probe on the front of the warheads to get the proper jet from the shape charges to punch through the armor. But there was a note from the Ukrainians, you can fire these without extending the probe. But really that would be something against a unarmored vehicle like a cargo truck filled full of supplies, a fuel truck, or you're trying to launch it into, say, a window of a building to detonate it inside there to take out enemy troops. Once you've fired the launcher, you then go through, collapse the foregrip, hit the latch, collapse the butt pad, collapse the pistol grip, and then hit your release lever, pull down and off on the launch unit, attach it onto your next tube, and get her ready to rock and roll. Very simple system to use. Not too complicated. It's a little more complicated than I think it should be because it's a disposable launcher, but it's still simple enough that a caveman can do it. Now, for all my engineer brothers in the Patriot Militia movements, always remember essay-ons.